We might be potentially witnessing another Brexit betrayal as Rishi Sunak has privately drafted a new relationship plan with the European Union. Okay, one of the problems we had since the EU referendum in 2016 was what sort of relationship we'll have with the EU, what sort of Brexit Britain we're going to have. One of the fundamental points of Brexit Britain was supposed to be about sovereignty and self-determination, which means you don't necessarily have to go with isolation, you don't necessarily have to shut down all trade and become a protectionist country. You can still cooperate with the world, trade with the world, be global Britain, the whole thing, but when it comes to negotiating with the European Union, you have to be very cautious because you can come up with agreements with the EU, your relationship with the bloc, but they usually get you to accept their demands. Now, Rishi Sunak is privately drafting new plans to rebuild Britain's ties with the EU because it's been under a lot of pressure from the cabal of the establishment and everybody else and all the people who create obstacles for Brexit Britain. And he's got a good friendship with Emmanuel Macron, who's also obsessed with accelerating the plans for the United States of Europe. These guys think that what we can do is basically betray the whole fundamental point of Brexit, which is we will decide who we will do trade with. As I said, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to say no to all trade. It simply means we can still trade with the European Union if they truly believe in a free trade agreement. But the problem is, because they have to defend and protect the integrity of their own single market, you really can't have a proper trade agreement with the European Union. You can't. It's just impossible. Unless you actually go with their demands. And it's happened already with the current Brexit deal. Now, we don't have the full details of what's in this draft yet. But Alex Wickham of Bloomberg has reported that in Rishi Sunak's new draft, essentially, they will be focusing on getting closer with defense, migration, economic statecraft, which includes, again, trade, energy, and international standards. I don't understand why you need an updated version of what you already had in the Brexit agreements. When it comes to energy, when it comes to trade, when it comes to standards, you don't necessarily have to change anything unless you are already not happy with it, unless you guys, especially when it comes to the Ramona civil servants and the European Union trade negotiators at the time, they always wanted something better for them. They always wanted a closer relationship, closer ties, as they say. So this was never going to happen anyway. They're the so-called no deal Brexit or Brexit Britain to be completely independent because you simply can't have it as long as you have people like Rishi Sunak and Emmanuel Macron and the others working together and being on the same side. Because this is the new globalization on steroid. That's the world we're living in. Because internationalism was always there. And globalism as a concept, especially since 20th century, it's been inevitable, but it's been on a slow pace. That's been okay. But now it's on steroid. Now there's vested interest, there's corporations, there's people who have their own lobby agenda to deal with. And we're just sitting here saying, well, how is it going to affect us? When you have a small corner shop or like an off license, or if you have a taxi driver fighting against corporation lobbies like Uber, going to government and lobby for them. It's quite difficult to actually see how we can actually fight back. But this channel will not give up the fight. With your support, we will continue to raise awareness and fight back against the establishment. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.